Thank you for tuning into the Humble Servant podcast. Aside from long podcasts or podcasts that go into depth and of the scriptures, I also want to add these snippets, these Bible verses that I want to share with you and let you know what they mean to me and how I approach them. And hopefully this will help you focus on the one thing in our lives that we should be focused upon every second of the day, and that is Jesus Christ. So today I'm going to be reading out of Luke chapter 10, starting at verse 38. And I'll be reading out of the New King James Version. And it says, "Now it happened as they went, they entered a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving. She approached him and said, 'Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Therefore, tell her to help me.' And Jesus answered and said to her, 'Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but the one thing is needed, and Mary has chosen that good part, which will not be taken away from her.'" Sometimes we lose focus. I know for myself, I do. And we lose focus because we get distracted about many things around us. For me personally, it's work, it's my wife, it's softball, it's baseball, it's coaching, it's keeping the house clean, it's making sure that my family has clothes, the lights are on, gas, whatever. But I lose focus and the one thing that I need. And if we go back to verse 41, and it says in verse 41 of Luke chapter 10, "And Jesus answered and said to her, 'Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things.'" Now catch this. It's in verse 42. "But the one thing is needed." Underline that if you're reading this with me. But the one thing is needed. That speaks to me. It speaks to me because we like to dump a lot of stuff upon ourselves that we put importance on. That, wow, we need to get this done. This is the thing. And every day that thing changes. But the one thing is needed. And that's Jesus Christ in our lives. The focus upon Jesus Christ, the one who laid down his life for us. He who knew no sin became sin for us. The one thing is needed. And verse 42 goes on and says, "And Mary has chosen that good part, which will not be taken away from her." Sometimes what we need to do is stop doing too much. We do too much, and we don't focus on the one thing that is needed. The one good part we don't choose, and that's Jesus Christ. He finishes up verse 42 and he says, "Which will not be taken away from her." Jesus will not be taken away from me. He won't be taken away from you. He won't be taken away from your family. He won't be taken away from your circumstances. Jesus is always there. He's always there sitting with us. And we forget that. We forget that Jesus is in the same room with us. We forget that Jesus is in the same car with us. We forget that Jesus is in our homes. He's at our jobs. He's right there, sitting with us. And we get busy choosing everything else around us. And then we ask Jesus to help us. When Jesus says, "You're focused on too many things, you're doing too much." Focus on the one thing that is needed. Choose that good part, which will not be taken away from you.